Let's get someone to weigh in on it, and that's the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Democratic Congressman Jim Himes of Connecticut. Congressman, so great to see you this morning. So let's start there. This idea of a government shutdown on the horizon. The clock is ticking. Republicans this week, well, they seem to can't get out of their own way. Very little progress made. At this point, how likely do you think it is the government will shut down, and tell us about what those consequences may be?
Yeah, look, I think yesterday we all kind of came to the conclusion that it's a certainty, right? And just to tell you why, yesterday the Republicans in the House failed to move a procedural vote on the defense spending bill. Now, two things. Number one, this used to be so easy to do. Defense, we all support defense. Now, this bill in particular, they loaded it down with every MAGA fever dream toxic appendage you can imagine. So much so that not a single one of the Democratic hawks would vote for it. And it's not that they couldn't pass it on the floor. They couldn't pass a procedural motion to get it onto the floor. So if you can't do that very most basic thing, the idea that Kevin McCarthy is going to pull off, the political equivalent of a triple axle to stop this shutdown, given that he refuses to lead against his, 5, 10, 30 crazy Freedom Caucus chaos agents, just not going to happen.
And, of course, now one wonders how much longer the Speaker is going to be able to hold on to power. And, Congressman, there had been some thought that he was hoping to get a deal on the budget if he could placate those on the hard right by offering an impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Well, that's not the case. They haven't backed off their demands. But the impeachment inquiry moves forward. In fact, the first hearing now on this is scheduled for next week. So talk to us your assessment of that, and what do Democrats do or going to do to stand up for President Biden?
Look, the good news is that, and we've seen this entire Congress, the facts and the truth are on our side. Every week, some combination of Jim Jordan or Chairman Comer offers up sensational, Fox News bait that this is the week that we find the witness that shows that Joe Biden is in fact the head of a mafia corrupt crime family, and it never turns out to be true, ever. Their witnesses come in and say, no, Joe Biden didn't know, anything at all about his son's business. Yeah, he made the occasional phone call to say hello, whatever. But, the point is that they build up expectations with these spectacular, dangled promises, and they always fail. So you know what? The impeachment inquiry is going to do exactly the same thing. Look, I've seen a couple of impeachment inquiries, right? When Trump was first impeached, there was the transcript of a phone call to the Ukrainian president saying, if you don't give me dirt on Joe Biden, I'm not giving you foreign aid. You can argue about whether that's impeachable, but it is evidence. McCarthy, for the first time, has started an inquiry with precisely zero evidence.
So, Congressman, you're working in an institution that is now known for the absence of governance. You can't govern, so you've got to go to work every day sitting there in the across the aisle from people who don't want to govern. But now it's getting really dangerous on a number of fronts. You've mentioned a couple of them domestically. President Zelensky is in Washington, D.C., I believe, later today or tomorrow. And there is an element within the Republican Party committed to cutting off any future funding, or certainly reducing future funding and equipment for Ukraine in its war against Russia. How scary is that?
Well, it shouldn't be scary, right? Because that element is, according to a vote that we took probably 2 weeks ago, 60 or 70 Republicans. That's what, 15% of the whole Congress, of the 535 members of the House and the Senate? Ordinarily, that would not matter. But in this world where Matt Gaetz or Tommy Tuberville can lead the leadership around by the nose hairs, Tommy Tuberville over in the Senate, we used to have leadership in this building. Tommy Tuberville is single-handedly eroding in very meaningful ways the national security of the United States. And where's Mitch McConnell? Where is Mitch McConnell to say what leaders used to say, which is, I will take you off of your committees. I will make sure you don't get $1 from the Republican senatorial committee. We used to have leaders in this building. Today, we have a speaker who wakes up in the morning and does the equivalent of calling up Matt Gaetz and saying, hey, Matt, what do you want today? With the knowledge that whatever Matt Gaetz says, it ain't going to be enough.
I really can't understand why there isn't a Republican or someone who can get to Tommy Tuberville and stop this one man from wreaking the havoc that he's creating and what he's doing to our military, what he's doing to our readiness, but what he's doing to families. It's brutal. He is this blockade needs to be stopped. I can't imagine one person in Congress who disagrees with that. Maybe there's one. But when it comes to funding Ukraine, the government shutdown, the impeachment inquiry into President Biden, you mentioned these Republicans who seem to be in control. Are there any Republicans that you can work with at this point, and who are they?
There are, Mika, and here's what makes me most sad. You know, there's lunatics in every asylum, right? So that doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is what I alluded to before. Why is Mitch McConnell, look, I don't much like where Mitch McConnell comes from on issues, but I sort of admire his operational acumen. Why is he being led around in a desperately dangerous way for this country by Tommy Tuberville, who until 15 minutes ago was a football coach, not an expert in national security, right? Why is Speaker McCarthy not doing exactly what he knows he needs to do to stop a shutdown, which is to do exactly what he did on the debt ceiling deal, which is to say, okay, look, we're going to hold our nose here and make a compromise. You know, this building doesn't work if people aren't willing to compromise, but every single day, Kevin McCarthy decides what I'm going to do today is make sure that I stay as Speaker, even if the cost is a shutdown, which is going to hurt hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Americans who don't get paid, who have to cancel their vacations to national parks, Social Security put at risk. Again, it's an absence of leadership, of leaders saying, yeah, here's what they say. I want to be Speaker of the House. The problem is Speaker of the House means you lead, and leading means you take tough decisions and you take some fire. No one around here is willing to take some fire, particularly in the Republican majority in the House.
Ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Democratic Congressman Jim Himes of Connecticut, thank you very much for being on the show today. We appreciate it.